This is Yerushalmi Shabbos, and the article Ozer Daf Kuf Vav Amud Aleph, and we are at Tamon Taninon, which is 9 lines down. Tamon Taninon Rachav Aleh, and that in the Vilna is on that Pei Zayin Amud Aleph, and that is 5 lines to the top. Tamon Taninon, we learned over there by Paraduma. Rachav Aleh, if you run a Paraduma. Nishaleh, you lead on paraduma. Nitleh, you dangle yourself on the paraduma. Avar ba'nar, you use it in order to go through a river. The Karmeh says that you held on to its tail and use it to help you pass over the river, because obviously Rachavah, we already just said, it's riding on it is a problem. Kipala as a mosera, you took its mosera, its rope, and you hung it on the paraduma. You fold it on top of paraduma. It should also be here nasan taliso. You put your talis on top of it. Kameh puts the word nasan. Put talis in it. Psula. Then all those things pass paraduma because the malachut paraduma is puzzle. And Kameh says that a lot of these things we went out from Eglarufa. Because by Paraduma it says Shalo no yoke went over it, and by Eglarufa it says Shalo Ubat Ba Shalo Mashcha Ba'ol. So the it says just that there it's not just all, it's any avoda. Also here by Paraduma it's not just all but any avoda. So the Gemara says, going back to what I said yesterday with the Korbanos Pesach, which they had to bring to the Azara on Yontif. So on Shabbos, sorry, Vahi Yafa Me'ada Yafa Me'ahi Yafa Me'ada. We can learn out from from Pesach Paraduma and from Paraduma to Pesach. The Gemara says the Hayada Yafa Me'ahi. The paraduma is learned from Pesach. Shim Tola Basakin Shok Shera. Here we see that they allow them to bring their korbanos Pesach to the Hazorah, carrying those knives for their own shchita. So we see that even though they're not allowed to do avodah b'kachim, they're allowed to put the shchita knife on the animal for the animal to carry, because it's the tzorech of the not your tzorech, not your avodah, but the tzorech of the shchita, the tzorach of the kachim. So the vahi yafa me'ada, and that learns the case of Pesach learns from the case of Paraduma. Shkol para shkol avoda shel shen kachim ein avoda any avoda for the purpose of the kachim is okay. And although it's not brought down in the Gemara here, the Korban Adam brings it down in the Ramasla is in us. If you tie the paraduma with the rope, also la sanda tachlok, or you put made it a shoe so it shouldn't slip. Pierce or you spread the talis on it in order to protect it from flies. It's the paraduma is kosher. It's the those are the things we learn from paraduma, which are at the end of the Mishnah there. They are also okay to do by Pesach. Okay, so we learn from each other part of the Pesach tomorrow. But we get back to the issue of Shabbos. The Gemara said, of course, that the way they allowed them to take their knives to the Beis HaMikdash on Shabbos, whenever Pesach came Shabbos, was by the knife being either sticking the knives into the wool of the sheep or tying the knives to the horns of the goats. So the Gemara asked, what about they had to wait yesterday? Till then, they had to be matiret by making a mechitza b'nei adam, by making a wall of people and surrounding each korban, and take it that way to the Beis HaMikdash. So the Gemara says, "El Rabbi Ami, must go to Rabbi Ami." You said you're not allowed to make a chula deliberately. But you have to only people unaware. That obviously would be very deliberate, and everybody would be aware of it. Says, well, not necessarily. But I feel you Rabbi Simon. You can even say it's going to Rabbi Simon, who said you are allowed to make a chula deliberately and to take transport items that way. Just like they forgot that you can do a korban Pesach when Erev Pesach comes on Shabbos, they forgot they can make a chula. Rabbi asked a very, very basic question, which is a fundamental question in Judaism, which is, it's not possible for 14 years to pass without Erev Pesach coming on Shabbos. Why did the halacha get concealed from them? Now, the answer I would give to this question is that Klal Yisrael suffers collective amnesia from every time Erev Pesach comes on Shabbos, next Erev Pesach comes on Shabbos, for more Sfarim to be written and for more Shurim to be given. Because each time we suffer this amnesia and everything has to be learned afresh. And Yakdu Terbi Yadir creates opportunities for more Torah. Some of the things like Birchas Hacham, which happens every 28 years. It's in order that Mokum Minichel is God, in order that each time a person should write a new Sfarim. And there are numerous things like that. But the Gemara says, Kedeli think the reason why this became forgotten for them was in order that Hillel should have this opportunity and he should come to the Nazi and Amiso. Okay, Tanya Rabbi Lezer Mer. Lezer says, Kashesh Shchita Doicha Shabbos, Kach Mashir Shchita Doicha Shabbos. So the just like the shchita of the karbanos is Doicha Shabbos, so too the preparations for the karbanos, the shchita of the karbanos is Doicha Shabbos. Amar Akiva said, Lo imamartem shchita she'ev la'asos erev Shabbos. No, not if you say that by shchita, which you can't do for erev Shabbos. The shchita has to be done on Shabbos itself. Torah machshir shchita, does that apply to the preparations for shchita? She'ev la'asos erev Shabbos. So how do you know just because the shchita is Doicha Shabbos, the machshir and Doicha? Amar Rabbi Lezer said to him, Imurei tzibur echichu. I'll prove to you that even something which can be done not on Shabbos is still Doicha Shabbos from the imurim, the fats and other limbs which go on the mizbech of the karbanos tzibur, of the karbanos which are brought on Shabbos. They indicate that Sheichol Asos, and here it says Me'er Shabbos, but the Korban changed it to Motzei Shabbos, and so is the art scroll. So, but Doicha is the Shabbos. Yeah, they put, even though you do Motzei Shabbos, they push him Shabbos. Says more. It says more. It says less. My machshir shchita livnei shchita. My machshir shchita achar shchita. So, where's your argument, right? Was it change machshir before shchita? In other words, things are not directly part of the Ma'aseh Mitzvah, but they're Doicha Shabbos after Shchita. So to the ones before Shchita. Okay, my Mashir Shchita Livnei Shchita. My Mashir Shchita Achar Shchita. Makes no difference. It's there Yerushalmi to do it this way, but we would probably say my Mashir Shchita Achar Shchita, my Mashir Shchita Livnei Shchita, right, the other way around. But Yerushalmi very often has this form that we had recently. Rabbi Akiva said, no, it's not comparable. Mali machshir shchita achar shchita, shabbat docha shchita is Shabbos. Machshir shchita after shchita, things which are call them ancillary activities after shchita, they're allowed to be good Shabbos because you're ready. Shabbos permitted to be the nitche for the korban. Once you start the process, you can finish it. Does that how can that prove anything about machshir shchita which are prior to shchita? Why is it where that's prior to anything with being allowed to push of Shabbos? They said that they should be mutter. Tavar acher, another interpretation, another argument Rabbi Akiva presented. Shema yimtza as ever puzzle. Maybe the korban was found to be a korban puzzle. In other words, how can you be matam machshir and livnei shchita? After shchita, he was already nitche beheter. You found the korban was the korban kosher. But before shchita, Shem Yitzhak is ever possible. Yitzhak Doicha Shabbos or shchita, pushing up Shabbos without shchita. Okay, so fine. That is about shchita. So Gemara asks, but Gabi Tinuk Ma'islach. So by a child, what are you going to say? In our Mishnah, Rabbi Akiva said that Machshir Milah are not Doicha Shabbos. Why not? Okay, by a korban it can puzzle, but by a child, what would be puzzle? Says Gemara, I'll tell you. Gabi Tinok Mayislach, Shema Yachla Tinok, Venimsa Derech Shabbos, Mila. Maybe the child becomes sick, you have to push out the bris milah, and therefore it's going to come out of Chol Shabbos, which without having it. So Gemara asks a fascinating question, and it's not in the Bavli. This question answer sequence, at least as our recollecting can tell. Mizbeach over Shabbos. So you have a mizbeach which fell on Shabbos, not necessarily fell, became possible on Shabbos. So before Shabbos, you weren't able to do anything. So according to Rabbi Akiva, so in this case, why is it not Derech Shabbos? There's no possibility of doing it beforehand. So the Harayin Roy Shabbos is not suitable in this case to build it on Shabbos. So the Gemara says, fascinating answer, means back Roy Akiva says any time when you have something which could have been done yesterday, even in this specific circumstance, the need did not arise, the circumstance did not arise, it's not Derech Shabbos. And it's true. This Mizbeach only became pogum, became damaged on Shabbos, but you can build a Mizbeach, or fix a Mizbeach, not necessarily Shabbos. It's not the same thing like with Mila. Mila you can't do it before Shabbos. If it's the 8 days on Shabbos, 7th day, it's no Mila. Pesach. If you can only do it on your dollar, you can't do it on your Gimel. So therefore, these things where it's no possibility ever of doing it on a different day, they're Derech Shabbos. But the Machshirin, which as a category can be done on a different day, even though in this specific circumstance that was not possible, because the circumstances didn't exist, that doesn't matter. It's part of the category which is not Derech Shabbos. Now the Shnus Chos of Bnei Moshe bring down here after the next words Agatzmecha. There should be another passage here, another case, so just go read from the Shnus Chos, and it's the way that it's called Tos Hadomos. We had a similar word Atzmecha on one line, and a similar word Atzmecha on the next line, and so for copying, skipped from one line to the other line by accident because he saw the same word. And when he looked up, looks up, so the same word again. So he was continuing, but really he had to skip the line. So Hagatzmecha, she knows the Yabolis. The carbon got a wart on Shabbos. An animal got a wart on Shabbos. So Arayin Royal Chatkom Shabbos shouldn't be able to cut off on Shabbos. They didn't have the wart yesterday, so they'll be Derech Shabbos today. Says Gemara, same answer. Mini Yabolis Royal Chatkom Mesmo. No, warts can be cut off before Shabbos. In this circumstance, it didn't rise till Shabbos, but the warts can come before Shabbos, therefore it's not Derech Shabbos. Okay, now the Gemara goes down to a case which is Durabbanan, where Rabbanan said you're not allowed to do something on Shabbos, and even if it's the case called Pesach, Hagatzmecha, a case where the court may change gears slightly here, Shechal. Tmei Mei Shechal Shvi Shelo B'Yudalid. Yos B'Shabbos. Shvi Shelo Yudalid Yos B'Shabbos. It was a Tmei Meis who has to have Karaduma water sprinkled on him on the 7th day, and his 7th day came on Erev Pesach. Shechal Yos B'Shabbos. Halachas we're not mazah midrabanan, but we're still not mazah on him. I mean, it's only it's a drabanan because it's not a melacha in the Torah, but you're now allowed to sprinkle the paraduma water on him on Shabbos. Why not? He wasn't suitable to do it yesterday. Can't sprinkle on the 6th day. Has to be on the 7th day after he became Tomei. So same answer. Minazoy allows us massimal. The category of sprinkling could have done for yesterday, and therefore it's not something which is called Derech Shabbos. Okay, halacha base. Also, you can do all the needs for meal on Shabbos. Marlin, to do the meal itself. Purin, after you cut off the foreskin, you rip the membrane underneath the foreskin. Motzitzin, you suck out the blood, which is part of the healing process. Noisav isplanis kamon, and you put up on it the bandage and kamon, which is a spice. I think it's coriander, but I'm not sure about that. The Bnei Moshe says it's not specifically made out of coriander. It's a type of healing powder. It's made from other things as well. Now, the Gemara says, Mishnah says, everything prepared probably for Shabbos. If you can make a shinui, you do a shinui. Im lo shalchem erev Shabbos, if you didn't grind that powder for erev Shabbos, lois machine they chew it on Shabbos. The nice thing put it on. Im lo toraf yain v'shemen. Also, they used to use a mixture of wine and oil as some sort of healing for healing the wound. If you didn't mix them together on erev Shabbos, no sin zayatz was out, so we put each one on separately. You don't make on Shabbos, evidently there's some special type of bandage they used to use, which is in order to prevent the foreskin from regenerating and growing over the wound. So that the specialized type of bandage you don't make on Shabbos. But you can use a rag in order to achieve the same effect. And if you didn't prepare this rag from before Shabbos, so then you can wrap it on your finger. Maybe if you bring it even from another yard which there was no Erev. So the general principle of the end of this mission is anywhere where you can make a shinui. You make a shinui as long as, of course, it's not going to impede the healing process to be a danger for the child. Okay, so the Gemara says, Himo. Which is the language by Himol Yimolchem Kol Zachar, language by Bris Milah. And we could darshan from this one of two things. Mikan l'shtei milos, either from here or two milos, achas the milah, achas the priya. One teaches us the circumcising of the organ, the other teaches us the ripping of the membrane. Or achas the milah, one is for the cutting off of the foreskin, achas the tzising, one is for any residual strips of flesh which remain after the milah to go back and do them. So So this is okay according to Rabbi Kiva, who says we darshan double l'shonos in Torah. Anytime it says a double lashon, we darshan, and so ribu it comes to include something else. It has some connotation of that sort. But according to Rabbi Shmuel, double l'shonos kefulos hein. According to Rabbi Shmuel, says no, there are double languages in the Torah. So this is the HaTorah Dibra Ribsa Kedarka. Carbon change the Girsa. The article does. Yes, in the text itself, no, it's HaTorah Dibra Kedarka. Just takes the word Ribsa. So the Dibra elsewhere in the Yerushalmi, it's what Dibra Torah Lashmi Adam. So the Torah speaks in a normal fashion. People speak; they say something twice. Right, so therefore he wouldn't darshan. So how does he know that? How is he going to know this halacha? And he brings down numerous examples of right? That's love and said to Yaakov. Nichsov nichsafta. Nichsov nichsafta. Also love and said to Yaakov. Ganov gunafti. It should be. By Yosef said to Paro. So we know it. How do we know that these two aspects are Milah? So she learns that Tzipora said about Moshe Rabbeinu after she did the Bris Milah on his second son, Eliezer, I think it was. Chasan the Mulos, my very difficult pasuk. Rashi, my Chasan was saved by the blood of the Bris Milah. So it says the Mulos, double language, plural. Mikan l'shnei milos. When you learn two milos, achas milah, achas milah, either like we said, the one for milah or priya, achas milah, tzitzim, one for the Bris Milah, one for the residual flesh. Okay, so another drush from Yimo. So Rav Amar Yimo Mikan no like Shumo. So it comes out here for somebody who was born without a foreskin. That still you have to do something to him. So you have to make an incision in order for blood to come out from that spot. It's called dam bris. Yimo. Also Yimo learn Mikan so orel shelo yamul. Right, when it says Hamol Imo, the person who has Bris Milah should do Bris Milah. Yisrael, even though he's Yisrael, if he's in Orel, that he can't himself have a circumcision for whatever reason, as a hemophiliac or some other issue, so then he shouldn't do Bris Milah. It goes out saying that a non-Jew who's called an Orel, even if he does have a Bris Milah, does not, because it doesn't have the concept bris milah, should not do a bris. Rabbi Levi, it says learns the same drasha from elsewhere, the same halakha from elsewhere. Ksiva ta es brisi tishmor. You my bris, you should maintain. Kol shekayotzi. Anybody who's similar to you, in other words, has to be a Yisrael, somebody who's chayev in bris milah, like Avraham Avinu, is chayev in bris milah, not a non-Jew, or a Yisrael who didn't have a bris milah. Tani, we learned Yisrael Mal Zakuti. Yisrael can be Mal a Samaritan. Samaritans were, at this point, still evidently considered to be Jewish, and therefore, Chaim Bris Milah, so Yisrael can be Mal Kuti. Kuti ain't a Mal is Yisrael, but a Kuti can be Mal a Jew, not because he's not Jewish, but Mineshim Miskayim Lahar Grizim, because he has in mind their particular form of Avodah Zarah, that they do it for the purpose of the Hagrizim, for their what's assumed to be a form of they assume to have some sort of image there which they worshipped. That's Stephen Rabbi Yehuda. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda said fascinating thing. How the meal requires kavanah? In other words, if he's Jewish, assuming this time the Kutim were Jewish, and he's doing l'shem mitzvah milah. Right, he's doing the mitzvah milah. So, where do we require the milah? Requires kavanah that it be done l'shem shamayim. Yeah, ma'aval l'shem agrizim. I should take the nafshel. Let him do bris milah l'shem agrizim until he expires. It's a fascinating position. So, discussion in the article notes here. What type of kavanah you do need to have by a mitzvah, what kavanah you don't have to have a mitzvah by a mitzvah. But in any event, here it seems that if the Kudah is doing the same mitzvah milah, and he's a mitzvah v'oiseh, that's enough. The fact he's doing for the birds of Avodah Zarah, that's his problem, not our problem. Okay. Somebody who in the days of the Misyavnim, of the people who assimilated into Greek culture, so people at Bris Milah, they devised an operation of some sort to refashion a kind of plastic surgery to refashion a foreskin and extend that over the Bris Milah. So a mashuch lo yamo, somebody who did that should not do a second Bris Milah. Shovei sakona, divrei Rabbi Yehuda. They should not come to the sakona because evidently it's not a real foreskin. So okay, off endangers the person. Not necessarily pikuach nefesh, but it could make him a krushafcha. So somebody who has a damaged organ, who's of course then not allowed to be married to a Jew. So Amar Rabbi Yehuda said, "Arbei meshuchan be made ben koziba." A fascinating reference to Bar Kochba here. By the time Bar Kochba came around after, because his real name was Ben Koziba, there evidently a lot of people wanted to assimilate into the Roman culture as well, just like the Greek culture. So therefore, they also went into becoming themselves Meshuchim. And then when Bar Kochba was staged rebellion, they decided to come back to being full Jews. So a lot of them got Kulam Bali, all got Bris Milah, V'choyu, and they survived. V'olida Banim Avanos, and they gave birth to sons and daughters. So evidently, he's saying, well, it's not such a problem. Okay, so he continues, but that brings us to the bottom of Kuf Av base. So we'll stop here for today.